Okay guys, let me give you guys a quick demo on how to solder. Okay, a couple things we're going to need. Some equipment we're going to be using are these here. So we're going to have soldering iron gun. So we're going to use. There's also soldering irons, which are like this one here. We're going to need solder. So this is the solder we use, okay, which we melt. We're going to need a pair of wire strippers. We're going to need a butane torch. We're going to use some heat shrink, a little kit of heat shrink. Heat shrink looks like this, just a hollow tube, and basically what it does is it shrinks tight to the wire after we do our repair. Okay, so first off I need my wire, which is like this. So typically we would do this when we have a problem or a damaged wire on a vehicle and we need to do a repair. We need these because what we're using these for is we're going to use these to take the insulation off of the wire. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so here's my wire, and I just use these, and basically what I'm doing is like so. I'm finding the one that fits best. I'm cutting the insulation just on the outside, and then I pull it, and basically it gives me that. Okay, and then I do the same on the other end. Two nice clean starting points here. Okay, another one. Okay, so then I have my wire like so. So typically what I do when I do a repair of a wire, I typically like to fan them out a little bit and then press them together. Okay, but before I do that, I want to be sure I have my heat shrink that I'm going to use. Put that on my wire so I don't forget later. Once it's together, then I can actually put the heat shrink on once I've soldered it. So now basically as I fan that out a little bit, I'm going to press these two together like so, and then I'm going to give it a twist. And once I've twisted it, then I'm going to place it in for solder. So you see it's twisted together. I'll have a holder which I'll use to hold it for me. Typically I wouldn't use this in the vehicle because, well, I'd be in the vehicle doing the work. Okay, so there's my holder there's my solder I need to do. The heat shrink's hanging out over here. Okay, so now I take my soldering iron, this guy here, and I have my solder, and what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that the wire gets hot. I want to make sure that the wire is hot enough to accept the solder. It should just flow into the wire. It shouldn't blob on the wire. To check my soldering iron and make sure it's good, I pull the trigger, and then I should see the solder should melt. And it's hot enough. Then I'm going to place my soldering iron on the wire, and then once it's hot enough, it won't take long, it'll just start to melt right into the wire. There it goes. Okay, and you can see how it just melts in there so nice. And you can see that I can actually still see the strands of the wire. That's a good solder. If it gets blobby and you can't see the strands, there's too much solder. You don't want a lot, just enough to give it strength. Okay, so if I take it off of here now, I can see it. I give it a pull. It shouldn't come apart. It's not apart. Okay, my next step is I would want to put my heat shrink on. So here's my heat shrink. One second here. So there's my heat shrink. I just slide the heat shrink over top of my solder, kind of center the solder in the middle of my heat shrink. Okay, from there I'm going to use my torch or something else that could blow. Heat gun would work as well. So I got a flame, So now I basically just run the heat across my heat shrink, like so, and it melts it, shrinks it around the wire, sealing it. So the reason I do this is to seal the connection, so I can't get moisture or dirt or anything in there that could corrode it and cause damage again. Okay, so now if I look at it, it's a nice sealed solder. And if I was to look at a couple other solders, that one there, too much. It works, but it's pretty blobby. Too much solder. That one's not bad, but you can see the solder. You can see the wire, but the wires aren't very tight together, so it's kind of a thicker, bulkier looking solder. And so that's your soldering lesson for the day.